Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. There's a lot that's coming up for today. We're talking about Mercury retrograde. We're talking about mindset mastery and kind of looking back at maybe what was coming up for us around the new moon in, good morning, Melanie. Good morning. Around the new moon in Scorpio that we had at the beginning of November. I want us to take a moment and I'll let people join. We're going to do some tarot, and I really want us to look at there's some unconscious and subconscious programs that are coming up for a lot of people right now. And I feel as though this Mercury retrograde is highlighting that, where Mercury is in Sagittarius in the house of quest, adventure, long distance travel, and higher education, as well as spirituality, legalities as well. So legalities is Sag as well as Libra. I know my chair's blocking it, but I can get the gist of it. And so I recorded an all signs reading for this Mercury retrograde. I recorded it this morning. I'm going to post it today. And it's a very fascinating transit that's going on right now. Whereas the day after the new moon in Scorpio was when Mercury went into Sagittarius. That was on the 2nd. Where did I write everything down? The 2nd of November is when Mercury went into Sagittarius. So Mercury, we can break this down, which is our mental plane. It's our Hermes planet. It's the how we receive downloads, how we communicate, all of these different things. In Sagittarius, this is big thinking. This is big, far-reaching goals, far-reaching dreams. And so, like I talked about last week with the Mercury retrograde, where we talked about identity, and I started using my given name, my given name. And I found that to be poignant. I found it to be important for the trajectory of where I'm going. Whereas Mercury, we'll look at it as lenses, Mercury in the house of legalities, for me, it was processing the house of money, values, and access to resources, sitting right on top of my natal Saturn, where it was, Sarah, you're at a fork in the road, where you're either going to completely, JC, welcome, 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 welcome. You're either going to completely shift your name, legally change your name, do all of these things, or you're going to go to your given name. You're going to retrograde, go back to your given name. And so, what I would love for all of us to really think about is what was coming up for us on the new moon in Scorpio. What were we really thinking about? And what maybe unconscious programs. This is unconscious and subconscious stuff. Like, I am so I'm doing, I'll be quiet for a bit. This is going to be getting to the programs. This could be mother and father stuff. This could be ancestral stuff. I just have a feeling that a lot of people, myself included, are like, oh, yeah, I had that big thing that I wanted to do that I was going to be manifesting around the new moon in Scorpio. And now I just feel like I'm right back where I started, or I didn't do any of the things that I wanted to do. The parable that we give when it comes to getting to the unconscious and the subconscious programs, and this is just a dramatization. This is not like, so you know how every New Year's, the new moon in Scorpio is in my 7th house, and after a long period of broken heart, I started to feel open to a relationship. This is huge, JC. This is huge. You're working with the planets, you're working with it, and I'm excited because this is I just recorded, I don't know if you were here for it, I just recorded an all signs reading for this Mercury retrograde. It's still uploading on my little telephone right here, and it's going to be posted hopefully later today. Hopefully later today. I like to have the timestamps for those done just because it's would be tough for everybody to navigate. So it's uploading. Bless my little telephone and all the work that it does. And so the analogy that I want to give, the parable that I want to give, JC, how am I? I'm doing really well. Thank you. Thank you. I'm processing right along with you. And this is coming up for me in the same way as I was like, it's coming for me. It's coming from my sun, moon, and rising, every little bit of it. And so I know as a mirror to all of you what I'm experiencing. And I can consciously lean into what it is that I want. And I can consciously think about what it is that I want. But unless I rewire my brain, unless I rewire my programs, the programming that's in my vessel that could be from my mother, father, from childhood, wherever it may be, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you so much for being here, Lamar. I'm excited that you're here. I try to go live every Monday at 11 Eastern Standard Time. This seems to be a really good time for everyone, whether you're East Coast, West Coast, or for my European people as well, and my Canadians. This seems to be like a good time period that matches for everyone, and it seems to just be a nice flow. So I'm excited that everyone's here. So actually, okay, so the analogy that I'm giving, let's go to Norway. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, travel. Let's honestly, that's one thing that I think going to the Summit of Greatness. Did you just get started with these lives? It was like a month or two ago that I just started doing them. Yes, yes, yes. Travel is one of those things that I really re-invoked this year, going to the Summit of Greatness, going to California in September. And the second I was so nervous, if you've been with me for a while, I was so nervous to go. I was like, how are we going to do this? What's going on? The second I sat on the airplane at Logan, I was like, I feel more at home in the air and traveling than I do. Like that has a lot to do with the Mercury retrograde. It has a lot to do with these are the unconscious programs that unless we shift those, it will always be the up and then the down and then the up and then the down and then the up and then the down. And so maybe there's travel coming in the next year. And I definitely want to go on a pilgrimage to meet so many of you. And whether it be the US, whether it be like, I got to get to Portugal, I got to meet Nuno. There's so many things that I feel more at home doing than staying in just one place at all times. And so I feel alive if the ground beneath me is moving. That's so beautiful, JC. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So the analogy that I want to give when it comes to the unconscious and the subconscious programming is, that we do New Year's resolutions at New Year's Eve, we set New Year's resolutions. And you see so many people that, get the gym memberships. It's like that. Tons of people do. And they've made a lot of jokes at the gym where it's like, expect there to be tons of people. Welcome those people. Welcome those people. That's just like me being a gym person and a healthy gym personality aside. Welcome those people. It is so awkward sometimes when you start in a new gym and you start in a new environment. I just wanted to say that. Just welcome those people. But then a month or so, maybe it's usually around like a month to 2 months in, a lot of people just regress back to their unconscious and subconscious programs because that's the standard operating system. We have to, yes, match the habit of, okay, I can, do something every day for 30 days. So it's built in. I think it was very easy for me to incorporate the habit of doing this Monday live because this was a space that needed to be created. We get to connect from all over the world. I know, JC, you're West Coast, I'm East Coast. Lamar, where are you? Like Melanie, remind me again where you're located. I totally forget and I apologize about that. But please, we're connecting across the universe, across time and space, sitting together over YouTube. Syracuse. Thank you. Try to remember where everybody is from. And so Jersey. East Coast is nothing like the East Coast. It's just like how do I say? I went to in one of my darkest moments of life, I attempted to move out to Portland, Oregon. I was there for like maybe 2 weeks. I was like literally like hemorrhaging money. All these different things were happening. And so I was in Portland, staying in someone's guest house and trying to like run from where my feet were. Lamar, people are so nice in Portland, or this was, 2018. I think 2018, 2017, 2018. So I have no idea what's happening since then. But I moved to Portland, Oregon. I was there and everyone was so nice. And I would be sitting on the bus, sitting, and I was like, everyone's saying thank you to the bus driver. This like Sarah's everywhere. There are Sarah's everywhere. There are Sarah's everywhere. What is going on? And it almost got to this weird point. Whereas the day that I flew home, I had a family member who passed away and I came home for the funeral and it literally I was like, done, done, done. Everything I had to be back in Massachusetts. And that was, me again trying to run for my sole purpose. So there was more things that were going on than that. So I arrived at Logan and I had already like booked the Uber. I was waiting for the Uber to come. And I have cabbies that are, being like, hey girl, come over here, come with me, come over here, come over with me. By the end of it, we're screaming at each other. It's like, you can't match the price that is here on my phone that my Uber is coming for me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. And I got into the cab or to the Uber. I was like, I'm home. I'm home. Like, it's an East it's maybe it's just a Boston thing, I don't know, it's an East Coast thing, but it's just like there's a harshness I say to my Boston when it's like, dude, I was like, "Don't try to heckle me right now," and my Boston came out, and I'm just like, "What is happening, sir? You can't match the price that I have in my Uber. I don't wanna talk to you right now," like, I am screaming. JC, yes, I live on my Venus line. It goes like right down the East Coast. It's just I'm meant to be here right now. It's just such like it was so beautiful. And on the West Coast, I have my sun and Jupiter, I think descendant that goes right through the entirety of the West Coast. So like that's why I like going to LA happened. My Venus line is on the West Coast. Yeah, I love the astrocartography. It is just so potent and powerful. It's funny that you mentioned that because there's been like, my love of Italy and my love of, the Italian language and wanting to travel there. I think I'm setting the intention to go a few times next year. And there's like one portion where it's my moon line and one that's my Mars line. I was like, girl, you can't go to your Mars line. What will happen? What's going to happen? But my Mars line goes right through Thailand. And I've been to Thailand numerous times and it's just one of my favorite places. And I upgrade so much there. And, being an Aries sun and a Scorpio rising, doubly run by Mars, I was like, you maybe could benefit from going to the Mars line. It goes right through Rome. I do want to check out the East Coast though. I think I have my North Node and Saturn line over there. Think about my Mars line too. It's in California. Dude, it scares me sometimes. I'm like, oh no. No, no, no. That's me living on my Venus line where I'm like, everything is lovely and creative and wonderful and beautiful. But I just want to see so with the intentions to travel, and I love that we're talking about CD or being in hermit mode. I notice that a lot of things going on in the background and I'm spared a ton of drama. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for sharing. I know it's scary for the harsh for women too to be on the Mars line. It's you there's a lot of stuff that comes up. And I'm really glad, CD Chase, that you're going into that. Like there's a phrase that I see everywhere, which is observe, but don't absorb, which is huge, which is so huge. And it's a really powerful phrasing because it means you can be in an environment and not let that saturate in. And you can say, wow, that's happening out there. Yes. Our Aries, our sun. Exactly. Our sun is Mars ruled. So it's like, what are we scared of? Every single time I've gone to Thailand, and I started traveling to Thailand before I even had the astrological language. And the amount of times that I've upgraded and had to stand in my power and I learned so much about myself in Southeast Asia. And some of the best days of my life were in Thailand. And so if I can do that on a Mars line, it literally like my Mars line goes directly through Rome. So I feel like I'm leaning into what terrifies me the most, and that's going to be some beautiful one more card for this community. Just this community need to see. What's going on for this community? I love this community. Oh, love it. Love it. Okay. So I really need to check out this chart for myself. Yes, Melanie, it's so worth it. Your astrocartography, it's you put in your date of birth and the time and the location just like you would your birth chart, and it is so much fun to look at. It's definitely it's not my mastery. JC, I don't know if you've mastered it just yet, but it's fun to really see like where you've been. It is very confusing, but but it's really good, and it's something that I find, start with where you live now, how things have come up, where you've traveled to before, and see what lines kind of intersect. I like to use it as like look to the past, see where you are, and then be like, oh, maybe a Jupiter line, maybe a Jupiter line. So this is what's underneath it all, and these are the 3 cards that I just pulled for us. So it's still so weird that it's backwards, but this was the first card that came up, this was the second, and then this was the third right over here. We're all setting some very solid foundations right now, and I really want us to understand our mental faculties and our mental mastery right now. That was really the intention for the video. I love how, oh my God, I love how we get going and talking about like this is the season of long distance travel, talking about where we're from, talking about how we want to be going to different places or what it means to be standing in a certain place, and to really include CD in this conversation as well, where it's like when I'm standing in a place that I don't want to receive and retain the info or the energy of the out there, being in hermit mode. Hermit is that master. It's the Virgo energy. It's the number 9. Yes, the number 9 in the tarot, where it says, I can observe what's happening out there. Hi, welcome, welcome. I can observe what's happening out there. I can maybe feel a trigger coming up, or I can feel a version of myself that maybe wants to engage or is afraid to engage, or all these different things that are going on. But really, what's mine? We talked about that last week, where it's the parable of like the energy fart, where it's like, did I fart? Am I trying to wear the fart, or what's going on over there? I won't repeat myself there. But so this is really fascinating to me, whereas we're learning how to take care of and steward, for lack of a better term, what it is that we do have, while mentally looking forward to what it is that we are desiring to create in our lives. I really like this card. This is a Virgo card. It's the last decan of Virgo energy, which we don't have nothing in right now. Yes, this is where the South Node is going to be starting in January 2025. So very, very interesting. And then we have the 5 of Pentacles over here. I feel like in retrograde time, I don't have to do reversals. I can just do straight ups as well, where this is walking away from something. A lot of people can say like, this is sadness. This is like, I had to call work this morning because I woke up feeling physically mentally exhausted. You are not a distraction. I will look over here if I want to, and then I will not respond if I don't want to, but you comment and you just continue and be a part of this. I'm so happy that you're here. Everything is happening just at the perfect time. So please, you are so welcome here. I'm very, very happy that you're here. So this card here, it can, for some people, they say it's like sorrow or, not having enough or all these different things. But a lot of people say this is a church, but there are no doors. There are no doors. They're not welcome there. So this could be about maybe community members that are there for you in all different scenarios and situations, and all different, like the people that you can hold space for and that you can support, as well as people that can hold space for you and that they support you as you work through your mental faculties right now. Those are your people. Those really are your people. Yeah. YouTube chat. I feel like a boomer, but hey, hi, hola. Oh my goodness. I feel like a boomer, but hey, hi, hola. I don't know how to do it either. You just put that. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of completed cycles that we're really going through. And something that I really want us to look at either our manifestation journals for the beginning of November. There's something that we are I'm also hearing like some childhood stuff that's coming up. There's some bigger goals, some bigger dreams that for a lot of people we've really, it's like I'm hearing that we're not sure how to do it, so we don't even give it any entertainment since it's like such a big image. So you have this big image of the future, yourself in the future, and it's so far outside the paradigm that you're in right now. So you don't think that daydreaming about it once a day or spending some time daydreaming about it is necessary. Like big stuff, big stuff. And so I would love for us to use this Mercury retrograde to remind ourselves of those big dreams, of those big goals, of those big visions, those future visions for ourselves that are happening here and now. I put out a past life tale recently, but there's no past life. It's all that quantum, it's the can line of all the us across time and space that are all happening here and now. So if you see a dream, a big version of yourself that exists, that version of you exists in this exact moment, is quantum physics states. In this exact moment, everything is happening all at the same time. We're being born, living, and dying all at the same time. And any version that we can I want to say prophesize, but we can daydream is real, is real. And so I would love for us to take, today is the second, and Mercury is going to go direct on the 15th, which is our full moon in Gemini. Over here, communication, language, early learning, short trips. So this is early learning, our childhood knowings. But I also have this feeling that there's a lot that's coming up for people, which is programming, that unconscious and subconscious programming. Let me read. Joss, Sarah, I feel like I have so many ideas and goals. I'm capable of whatever I start, other ambitious, but ambitious projects and forgotten dreams. I would love for you. Thank you for sharing because you're not alone. This has been coming up so intensely for me. And I want you to follow the trigger. What do you mean by that, Sarah? So sometimes I will see like a beautiful, like, oh my God, I was watching, what was it? It was the Brandy, Roger and Hammerstein's Cinderella, the Brandy and Whitney Houston one, which is so worth your time, so worth your time, so worth your time. And there's this beautiful version where they're ballroom dancing, when they meet and they're ballroom dancing. And there was this trigger that happened inside of me where I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't know how to ballroom dance. I said, girl, then go take a class. Then just go take a class. You'll learn how to ballroom dance. So follow the trigger. Follow the trigger. Whereas if you have been seeing something, or even like the term jealousy, follow that. What is the root of that? Where does that come from? A lot of this this is learned behavior that we're shifting this program. So this goes to the unconscious and the subconscious of our minds. So this is not easy stuff, but once we recognize that, all we really have to do is start to do the unconscious things where it's maybe hypnosis tapes. This could be, just mindset shifts. You know what I mean? So you've been guided to pump the brakes on everything I want to achieve. And I need to go inward on myself and just heal and focus on myself, which I do love to do. But I also feel an excited puppy, like, okay, I'm done healing yet. I'm done yet. Can I start these things now? And God would be like, chill, girl. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And that is perfect. This year has been, for a lot of people, myself included, please raise your hand, where it's like ego death, stubbornness, shooting your shot and failing, or this didn't work or this didn't work. And then every single day it's like I'm getting punched in the ego, something's pushing me down, something's happening, trying and doing all of these things. And it's like, but every single time we go inward, every single time we're like, this is me, this is my program, this is my stuff. What can I do? What can I heal? Also reminding yourself at the same time that you're worthy, because healing never ends. This process of existing is never going to end. And there's not going to be like a moment where you're like, I'm healed. Ta-da! Every single time you upgrade, it's like there will be another version of healing to do. I want to be excited about the future, but revel in where I am now. I don't want to wish it away. Yes, it's being future focused and being grateful for what you have now. Gratitude is the most important currency that we have. It's the most powerful thing that we have because it connects us to all that is. It connects us to our divine understanding and to our real. So being grateful for the things that we do have. Good morning, good morning. And being excited about the things that we wish to have, that we wanted, that we see in our mind's eye, seeing him in our mind's eye. We get to do this. We get to heal. We get to grow. Exactly. Exactly, Melanie. This community loves to process, loves to be forward thinking, and loves to do this work. But we can get so caught up in especially when we have big times like this year, 2024 has been a huge season of growth for so many people, And it's felt like you said, like, when am I done yet? Am I done with this yet? Am I done with this yet? This is our moment. And I feel as though I'd love for us to really take this time to the full moon on the 15th to just look at the unconscious and the subconscious programs, or even what I'm being shown is like, where does the boundaries of your limitlessness end? Where we know that we have certain laws of this universe, we also know that we live in a reality that has like gravity. So I know that if I, walk out into something, I'm going to get hit by something. Or if I walk out the window, I'm going to fall. I know that that's a reality. It's also, where do we say, yes, exactly. There's no destination. Where do we say, okay, I know that I am a limitless manifester and that I can have anything that I desire in this world except this, because I know that I got to hustle for that, or I got to do this. And it's like, where do we feel conditionally loved? Where is it conditional? This is going to unlock a lot for us. Where it's like, I know that I can have everything and everyone on this planet is worthy of love exactly as they are because they're growing and they're learning, except me. I got to lose like 10, 15 pounds. I got that Thanksgiving weight on. So it's like, once I get here, then I'm going to be lovable. And that's going to be, used to it. But yes, yes. I've gotten used to the rebirthing, definitely gotten better with the processing. Mara, that's amazing. That's amazing. And I really love that this language is becoming so accessible for so many people to say, okay, this is something that's triggering me. I'm a millennial, so Zach Morris, I'm like, okay, stop. What's really happening here? My inner child is getting triggered, or my inner adolescent is trying to scream at someone. My shadow self is coming out. Or you can go to the IFS language. It's like, I don't know the exact ones, and it's not my mastery, but it's like, is this like the protector of me that's trying to come out? That's like, I've been in this danger zone before, so I have to protect myself and I have to do this. Like, what voice is going off in my head? And I feel as though when we have years like this or seasons like this is an opportunity for us to say, okay, was I creating this out of lack? Was I making this decision out of lack? Was I doing this because I wanted to impress, the father figure, the mother figure? Am I doing this because, other people in the industry that I want to be in are doing this, but it doesn't really fill me up? Or does this constantly get me to that North Star, to that big image for myself? That we also have to look at the universal law of comparison. Whereas, why do we think it's big? What are we comparing it to? And why are we thinking of ourselves as small? We talked, I think it was last week and maybe even the week before, about really rebranding, like, I am safe to I am powerful. I am powerful. Read some comments. When I lose 10 pounds, it'll do this or that. Exactly. I'm grateful to be growing, changing the comfortable space and staying the same, the unhealed, unhappy version of myself. Yes, huge. Although I've had opposite feelings where I felt too long, I was ready to be done. That's huge, JC. When we really recognize that, like, getting to be on God's wake up list every day, like you getting to wake up, there is something beautiful that is meant for you. This life is not meant to be suffered through. It is not meant to be struggled through. That is an option on this planet. And we've all chosen to put that on our plate in the cafeteria line at a certain point. There were many times that I have literally, if we know that this whole world is a cafeteria line, there are many times that I've been like, I'm going to put a bunch of struggle bus situations on my plate so that I have people to talk to, because the people that I'm around right now are also struggling. And I just want to be able to talk. I'm not ready to really be in the roaring silence of my own company just yet, because then I have to look at like my role in this, but we've all done that. And we're not doing that anymore. We're choosing to say, okay, this program is being released. This program is being released. This program is being released. The pain suffering has been a great teacher. I'm really glad that you're saying that, because it is very, very true. It's very, very true. And can be a very efficient teacher, you know? Yes, loving yourself unconditionally is so powerful, and recognizing every day that you are enough, that you've done enough, that you're worthy every day. And these are phrases, it's why I talk about the post-its all over the house, because when we rewire our brain is going to brain. They're looking for problems to solve. The brain is looking for something to protect us from. It's also looking to label something. It's saying, okay, this is gray, but then this is white, but then this is kind of gray, but then this is this. Or these earrings, what are they called? Is it the humsa? Is it this? What evil eye is it? Your brain wants to solve a problem. It wants to label something. That's the muscle. That's what the muscle is supposed to do. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to literally be like ABC, ABC. What is this? 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 And so when we're rewiring the brain, giving it new things, it's like we, hurt ourselves in a physical sense, and we have to do physical therapy exercises to get us to the next level of our strength. So when we have post-its that say, I am worthy, I am loved, I am powerful, I am prosperous, I am whatever it may be, I am worthy in this moment, that says to the brain, oh my goodness, this is what you can say. This is what I can say. I used to have post-it notes all over my room. My fam thought I was crazy, right? A lot of the times as the starseed of the family, you're looked at as like absolutely cuckoo pants, absolutely cuckoo pants. So you are not alone in that in any capacity. So I'd love for us to work with this cycle and work with this season. As I'm talking, the moon is in Sag. Just had the new moon yesterday. So we have the entire season of the moon going through Cap, Aquarius, Pisces. It's going to go in Cap later today, I think, for me in the East Coast. Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and then have the full moon over here in Gemini. This is an opportunity for us to really integrate, retrograde, Mercury retrograde, a new habit. I also want us to make it so much simpler than we think that it's supposed to be. Like find like one area wherever Mercury is transiting in your chart. I'd say stay really, really close to that. And I recorded an all signs reading. Oh, good. It's upgraded. It's updated. Hit loaded, pardon me. So I can timestamp it after I get off the call with everybody and post it as soon as possible. I don't always know the lingo of the computer stuff and the technology stuff, but it's loaded. It did it. It did it. But this is a beautiful time for us to really utilize these next few weeks. What's today? It's Monday. Jesus God. The next 2 weeks, and focus on one thing wherever Mercury is really transiting in our chart, or one big goal. It could be, if it's a big future image, we can go micro, we can go macro, we can do both. So if it's one big future image that you're like, I haven't thought about it in a while, I know that I'm supposed to be traveling all the time or doing all these things or whatever it may be, or in a really beautiful, loving relationship, whatever it may be. The moon, the sun, and Mercury are hanging out in my 12th house. Melanie, this is huge. This is huge. This is soul purpose, healing, closure, and coming home. So this could be the end of a really big mental cycle, physical cycle. This is also the health axis for you, the 6th and the 12th house. So if it's something, whatever has been coming up for you, I would say focus on those big, big dreams. And say, okay, I see this big dream. I don't know how to get there. I don't know how to become it. But maybe sit, in contemplation every morning after you have had your meditation, after you've grounded, and just sit in contemplation of that big image. Be like, oh, it's this, house, this beautiful house that I live in, and I love it, and I have this beautiful kitchen, whatever it may be, like whatever that bigger image is, and just like mentally make it like The Sims. Is The Sims is that still a thing? Is that still a thing, or I still function like it's 1993. So it's, a lot of you know that. But so I don't know if that's still a thing, but you just like build the house from the outside in. Yeah. low key still think, thank you. Okay. Well, that's it's but just what I'm saying is making sense. I really hope that it's making sense. Where it's just sit in contemplation 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day, 1 minute a day. However you can just conservatively start doing this. I would say first thing in the morning, think about it. I'm glad it's making sense. And just think about that image. That, to use Tony Robbins' language, that compelling vision. Okay, I'm so great. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And think about it and really focus on it. There's the what is it called? The practical manifestation technique that's in my playlist, the toolbox. That could be something fun to do as well. If you're really not sure, you can go and watch that video where it's that's how I manifested my home, and I've manifested things with that process. And so really taking this time period, this is beautiful. So when it comes to processing going into 2025, and this community is really going to take to this, which is we don't 2024 was a lot of introspection for a lot of us, for the majority of us, if not all of us, where we looked and spoke from I statements and we were really like, okay, what's my role in this? I'm the only one, the only power in my universe. What can I do differently? Why am I thinking about all this stuff? So when things come up moving forward, we can be a lot more efficient in our processes. It's Zach Morrison, stop, drop, and freeze. We go, okay, what's getting triggered? What's really happening? How is this coming up? Is my adolescent trying to run the ship? Is my inner child okay? Is everything okay? And then we observe, we don't absorb, we don't let that version of ourselves come out. We just say, oh, this is another version of something that needs to be looked at and tended to, not just healed. It's not. I really, and it's like, as a healer, for saying we're all healed. It's weird, but it's like, because I don't want us to have to go down the whole cul-de-sac of like, oh, this is another season of me having to go through all the process, or there's something else that I'm going to, heal. Whereas, no, I'm healed now and now and now I'm growing. So each time I grow, there's going to be a new level of healing at each moment. Whereas kind of, right, I mean, like right after a big traumatic event, we process it and we look at the why. Okay, this happened so that I can grow. Reverence for the villain type stuff. And then maybe a few years later, you're like, oh, I get it even deeper. And then a few years later, like, oh my God, I get it even deeper. And then a few years later, like, I've never been more grateful for that because now I teach it. Now I preach it. Now I, couldn't do what it is that I do if I didn't have that experience. You know what I mean? Where I talk about that, I have for purchase is an intuitive listening lecture. And the link is in the description of all the videos. I'll put it, it's in my digital marketplace. But we talk about how your greatest trauma, when you start to do intuitive listening, when you start to hold space for people, becomes your mastery, becomes your first clients are naturally attracted to you. And so what you've gone through eventually becomes, it's kind of like your Chiron placement. It's like becomes how you profit in this world. It's like my soul said that I'd come here to do this, experience that, and now I get paid to help others process those types of things. It's all connected. It's all connected. I'm gonna sip of water. Let's see what else we got under here. Dude, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. Virgo card. Yes. So when the moon comes up reversed, it could be just a time that we're in more of a solar activity time, which I really like, instead of like feeling like a lunatic, which happens all the time. Happens all the time. I talked about it in my last tarot reading for December, where I was like laughed at the gym when someone was like, "That's what you do for a living?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I do for a living." And so lunar time, solar time. So when we utilize new moons, like we did yesterday, and we set our intentions for what it is that we do want, it's not going to be so much of I have to process this so deeply and do things here. It's going to be very efficient processing and continuously staying focused on what it is that compelling vision, that future image of what it is that we do want, and holding that image as often as we possibly can. Holding it as often as we possibly can. Things are going to come up. We're going to, identify as our human being many a times throughout the day. many a times throughout the day. And really taking a step back as often as possible and treating ourselves like the director of The Sims, sorry, and not the avatar in it. We are way more powerful than what maybe we've been giving ourselves credit for. We also have unconscious and subconscious programs that are in the computer of our brain that we need to upgrade. And so I would love for us to take these 2 weeks to really, after we get off this live, maybe do some journaling and focus on one component, one house, or two, if Mercury's, given the windshield wiper to two, however big or small. I don't want to put it into a box for you, but I would say focus on that one area that's really been a pattern in your life. Like there's something that's been a pattern over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you're like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I had a thought the other day, because I'm right with you with this. And so I was talking to my higher self, I was talking to my spirit team, and I had just gone through like a mental, like I was entertaining the story for a few minutes. And I came out of it and I was like, okay, this story is so boring. I'm not enjoying, like I literally said out loud to my higher self, I was like, this story, it's not scary anymore. It's just boring. And I'm really tired of it. And I'm ready for the next one. So please send me the book, send me the podcast, send me whatever it is that I need to see, hear, and experience. Send me whatever it is that I need to incorporate, invoke, and I will whole hog it. I will like swan dive into it and I will integrate it and I will really like saturate that into me until it is mastered, and then I'm ready to move along to the next one, because I'm just like it's like I've been rewatching the same, scary movie for, I'm 37, for 37 years. I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I would really like to go on a new adventure, please. And then I recognize that it's just me and the programs in my brain and the programs in my mind. And sometimes 37 years old, I'm 37 years old. I was born in 1987. Yeah. Yeah. 37. Yeah, I'll be 38 in March. 38 March. I get that sometimes. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's if you saw me when I was in my 20s, it was not the way. It was not the way. But it's I appreciate that very much. And I feel as though sometimes we go through these experiences, and it came up in the all signs reading, so I'm really going to get that going for us soon, where when we're consciously creating our successes, we basically tell our parents' parents, unconsciously and subconsciously and consciously, I know you do things in a certain way, kind of like you get laughed at, Lamar, with the post-its. Like you did things in a certain way, us speaking to our parents, but I'm going to go around that. I'm going to go above that, and I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to do things that are bigger because I have a bigger dream for myself. However you choose to live your life is not a competitive type of a mindset. It's just what we want for ourselves can be bigger, it can be brighter than who we were in our last breath. Not in comparison to another person, but to say, I have goals and dreams that are bigger for me, for me. And when you surround yourself with people that have this mindset, like this community, a growth mindset, being surrounded by winners, everyone wants you to win. Everyone wants you to thrive. Everyone wants you to have whatever it is that you want to have, because there is no pile of things in the middle that is finite. This is the smoky quartz that I have, but there are so many smoky quartzes. Everybody in this group can have a smoky quartz. So me having a smoky quartz doesn't take from you having a smoky quartz. Tarot cards. There are millions and millions and millions of different types of tarot cards and tarot decks in this world. So me having a tarot deck doesn't take from you. What is meant for me is only meant for me. What is meant for you is only meant for you. So I could want the exact same thing that you want, but there's not just one of the things. There's an infinite number of infinite universes of infinite everything. And so when we shift that mindset to be more big thinking, Sagittarius, to be more far reaching, think of the glyph, the archer. But the archer has one single bullseye point. One single bullseye point that they are shooting towards. So as gregarious as Sagittarius is, Sun, Moon, Rising, or everybody has Sag in their chart, has big reaching as those personalities are, you got to have that little bullseye that you're focused on. And it could be that compelling vision that you spend a little bit of time every single morning just visualizing it. Just visualizing. You don't have to know how. I literally want y'all, your homework is to daydream and to just look at big things. And I feel as though from this new moon yesterday until the full moon in a few weeks, when Mercury goes direct, we'll have more of a solid inner foundation as to what a step that we could take may be. I think that's making sense. I think that's making sense. I'm going to pull a few more cards. Oh boy. I love this. Oh, geez. I love this for us. Oh, Justin, I'm so happy that you're here. It's so good to see you. Angela, good morning. Good morning. I'm so grateful for you both. Moon Sprout late. I'm so happy you made it. You made it. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy that everyone's here. I'm just connecting across time and space. I'm just so happy. You just made my day by existing, all of you. Hey, sent you an email that may have went to spams. Definitely, I will check my spam and I will go after we sign off from this. I said, it may have went to spam. I'll check that. Moonsprout, I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. Let me make a note so I don't forget it. We will connect. We will connect. Where is it? Sorry, it's backwards for me. Whatever is breaking down, let it. Whatever is coming up, let it. Whatever your intuition is telling you, let it birth itself. I call this card, I am not superfluous. I'm not extra. I'm not too much. I would really love for us to, if you ever feel as though you're too much or that dream that you have is too big, that you're reaching for too much, I want you to look into the universal law of comparison. I believe that's what it's called. One of the laws of the universe, which is, okay, like this room is a nice size living room. It's a beautiful size living room. I've heard another intuitive say this is the pullback on the bow to be still and aim for the bullseye. Yes, yes, yes. That's a beautiful way that that's put. That's beautiful, Melanie. Exactly. It's the like contraction before the expansion. It's that slingshot pullback. I love that. I love that. I love that. And so when it comes to the law of comparison, this room, it's a cute size room, compared to the bathroom, the toilet room, it's a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger compared to, the biggest room in a massive mansion. It's on the smaller size. So when we think of our big goals and big dreams, we might need to look at why we've labeled it as big. We'll hold on to that mantra till the 15th. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much for posting that. And always, share if you have an intuitive or a tarot reader. I think that happened a few weeks ago. It might have been Angela, I'm not sure, that had a tarot reading that really, really resonated, and like share that person here and to get more people to connect and more people to, if it's resonating for you, it could possibly resonate with another person. So I love this community expansion. So look into why we label our things as big And also I'm hearing why we label things as small. Like, I only want this much. Only that was, yes, beautiful, beautiful. And you shared the person, and it was just so, it really resonated. So when you see these things and you're amongst a collective, it might be that someone else in that collective could benefit from that same channeled message. So always share the channeled messages that you receive. Where did I talk about it? I think it was in the channeled messages, whereas all of y'all are just as intuitive as I am. There's nothing, and your community is looking for your messages, and your community is looking for, like, Justin, I'm looking at you. Your community is looking for what it is that you have to share and that what is working for you. Throw RX is happening in my 10th house, Sag, Jupiter, Neptune, Uranus. I hope for some good things to happen. Yes, 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 definitely. You have big things to say, and having that big Sagittarius energy, especially with all of those big outer planets for your generation has so much to do, but not in the external. It's like you're shifting so much in the internal, and things are just happening for you super magically and super, it's like you don't have to worry about so much of the mental programs that some of the older generations have to worry about, if that makes sense. Still seeking out what I am to share. Past what is sought out from me. Yes. So it can start, and that was a lot of what I did at the beginning of my spiritual journey, or even my channeling journey, which is I would share a channeler. It was Elizabeth April. Like, I would be binge watching her stuff at the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, and I would share her stuff on my page. I would comment on her lives. I would it be a part of the community as we are here. And so and she would say that all the time. And I say that to this day. It's like, let me go first, share, this live, and say, oh, I was just talking with my community about Mercury retrograde. Maybe somebody else could benefit from that. So even if we don't think that it's our own messages, people are looking to you for what it is that you're focused on. So much of what that Jupiter and Gemini retrograde is showing us is that people are trimming the fat on whom they are subscribed to, who they're following, all these different things. Could be people that you resonate with and you really appreciate and respect what they're saying, but you're like, that's just too much, and I can't take in all that content. But people are still looking to you as the intuitive that they know, whether you have your own practice yet, whether you are sharing your own gifts, but they look to, oh, they follow this person. Maybe I can look into that message. Just like we were talking about, like when you go see an intuitive and you share it here, I feel as though everyone in this group is a leader in their own sense, whether it's, I have a growth mindset, I process deeply. It's all the same language, but the people in your communities are looking to you for, what are they receiving? What information are they watching? Do they watch this? Do they watch this person? Like, where do you get your downloads, your intel? What is being unlocked for you? Because and please, show of hands, do you ever just watch a podcast and you're like, that just shifted my entire paradigm? That completely shifted my paradigm. That can be shared with your community. That can be shared, say, this just, right? Right? It's so big. It's so, so big. And it's, something that's why in the description of most of my videos, I have a little tab that's a reference that says, oh, I just watched this Summit of Greatness, or this, pardon me, School of Greatness. I just watched this. I just watched, Emilio Ortiz. I just watched this. And it really just shifted for me. And so the more we share that, the more we invite people to the cafe, the more we invite people to that collective. It's not so much anymore like, oh, I'm sitting in this classroom and these are the only people that are welcome in this classroom. It's limitless, because blessings to YouTube and to our little telephones that can hold limitless space. There's limitless seats in each classroom. There's limitless spaces for us to be able to educate ourselves and to grow and to adapt and to heal and to upgrade. And it is just looking into each other's eyes, or the resonance within the voice box. That's why so many people, when they hear light language, it just feels so safe. It's like, I don't have any idea what actual words are saying, but I feel like it's a song that I heard when I was a child. The first times I ever heard light language, it just reminded me, like, I would just hum as a kid. And I was like, this reminds me of things that I was saying. There was no tone to it. There was nothing. It just was. And so when we get out of the brain, the ego brain, and we sink into that knowing, it just shifts. It just really shifts. I'm just so here for it. I'm just so grateful for it. It's even just that awareness. When I was growing up, this was unheard of. This was unheard of. And now we're in a collective with I have 11 people live right now that all of us are like, "Oh yeah, that's casual, of course. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna upgrade. I'm just a different version of myself since being a part of this collective, of course." And it's so casual and it's so beautiful. So if that for a portion of my adult or pardon me, my human life was unheard of, now is casual, the limitlessness of what we can manifest, for lack of a better term, have, experience, create, it's so much bigger. It's so much bigger. Thank God, Melanie. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Yes, I feel like having your in times of big expansion and also in times of big contraction, for lack of like whatever is like the pullback that we're going through, that phrase, chop wood, carry water, what is your basic everyday? I get up, I meditate, I drink water, I do this, like whatever that process is, I would love for everyone and myself included to really, and I'm going to be integrating like what I'd shared, like really just spending some time in contemplation of that big compelling image. I'm just adding that into my everyday, whether it's, you know, looking at your day and how would my best self handle, pardon me, anything that happens that day. It's a great mindset mastery to have. And also that big vision, that big thing that you're working towards. So having the micro, the today, and then the macro out there loops it together, it strings it together. So I think I think that's it for today. Please, if there's any questions, I'm going to go and check my email and check my spam. So I will reach out to you ASAP. And I really, any books you recommend for spiritual growth? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The Power of Now is popping into my head. Becoming Supernatural, anything Dr. Joe Dispenza. Absolutely anything Dr. Joe Dispenza. Let me have a think on that. Those are the two that are really popping into my head right now. But I would say looking into Dr. Joe Dispenza, his work would be the place that I would start right away, Becoming Supernatural or any of his books. Absolutely any of his books, any of his content, any of his meditations. And you can find some for free on YouTube, definitely so. I'm going to his website and downloading some. Like he's shifted so many lives. So many lives. So I would say just in a very general way, starting there could be. And the power of now. There is nothing that is happening outside of this present moment. Have you read The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday? I have not, but maybe Caitlin as well, look into it, definitely. Like, and anyone else, do they have any books for recommendation on spiritual growth? Please comment them below and share with Caitlin. I'm so grateful for every single one of you. I'm so happy that we're able to come together in this collective. Yeah, the rest of the month looks beautiful, and I'm really excited about utilizing this energy in a shared collective. That's what I'll leave you with. When you are focused on something, and I'm just going to say our highest and greatest good, and there's a synergy of when a lot of people together hold that same vibration and manifest it together, for lack of a better term. We're holding the vibration of this entire collective's highest and greatest good. And with all of us together, it just can happen so powerfully and so quickly because we feel the support of others around us. So I am just holding all of you in my heart. I am here for anything that I can offer. Please comment books below, and I hope to see you all next week. We're doing Monday lives at 11 Eastern Standard Time, and I'm grateful for every single one of you. I will see you all next week. Bye.